Do you think that she was still upset after the loss?
I think, I don't know if she was still upset. She had a great press conference after. They asked her, what'd you think? Well, what'd you say? Well, it looked like, then write that. I mean, I think she had the greatest press conference after a game like that where they're approached about a non-call. It's like, write what you think you saw. If you didn't see a foul, write that. You saw a foul, write that. My question has always been, I've seen thousands of basketball games. You've coached in thousands of basketball games. And I jokingly do this. Gene Anderson, one of our in-house guys, he's a high school ref. So what is a foul? I mean, I'll give you my definition. You tell me what a foul is.
What is it? Gene describes it as displacement.
Maybe. I'll tell you what a foul is. It's whatever they call.
Well, of course.
Which means, do we really know? All I can say is, like we were talking to Coach Graham, in the first 3 seconds and the last 3 seconds, if you get hit in the face, that's a foul. I'm sorry, it's a foul. I mean, as I've always understood basketball, you get hit in the face while you're shooting the ball, that's a foul. I mean, it's not, it's the end of the game, so it's not a foul.
Right.
Well, in that case, if I'm the other team, I'm just going to start punching the players in the last 3 seconds to make sure they can't get the ball.
Well, I'm going to say this about Kim Mulkey and what she said. So USA Today has got a story out about this, and the lead of the story is somebody needs to remind Baylor coach Kim Mulkey that the COVID-19 pandemic isn't over. You did the stats, and you're from the heart. Now, we've seen throughout this COVID, quote, pandemic that's going on that contact tracing has taken out a lot. Contact tracing.
Not the virus.
Not the virus.
Contact tracing.
Contact tracing.
Somebody walks down your sidewalk within 30 feet and they have COVID, you can be quarantined.
Well,
I mean, let's I may
bring
be
it back
exaggerating
into the sports side of it, because the contact tracing
but that's kind of what it
is the fact that
if somebody walks
somebody has a COVID-19 positive test and you're within 6 feet of them,
right?
You've been contact traced.
Right.
You're out. You're done.
Look, if somebody could walk by Butts Mayor during spring practice, I mean,
well, it's not that extreme.
No,
but you're talking about walk down.
Well, we're
talking about contact tracing, which means
what is that? But what does that define? I mean,
that
defines jump off of people.
Piece of string.
Is that what?
In a circle, in a classroom.
Okay, it jumps from one person to
or
the
on
next.
a team. Yeah,
I don't know what. To me,
I think contact tracing needs to be eliminated. Period.
Absolutely. And if you're going to eliminate contact tracing, there's no point in testing.
Now you can,
unless someone's sick. If you're not sick, you don't go to the doctor. So why are we making everybody test? You're not sick, but come over here. We got to test you.
Right.
Every day, my wife goes into work where she teaches. They have to temperature check her and all that. She's not sick.
Okay.
But
Newsflash on the temp check. Newsflash. When I had COVID, I had no temp, so I could walk in her classroom. I mean, technically,
a lot of this makes no sense to me.
So
you
can walk into the stadiums. Hall County forced you to have your temperature checked going into a stadium. Every football game.
Right.
I could have walked into the stadium and covered a game because I had no symptoms.
That's correct.
Other than a chill, not really a chill, an ache, a body ache for about 12 hours, and a small cough.
Right.
I would have never known. So.
Right.
But
the thing is,
that's one point away from Bo for
it's on
cell
mute.
phone activation.
It's on mute.
Mine didn't sound like it.
I know.
Yeah, mine's on mute.
I'm not sure.
But it's
thanks.
You're not, if you had the flu, Bo.
Yes.
First of all, you probably wouldn't go outside because you had the flu, and you would say, hey man, you want to come over? It's like, no, I got the flu. I'm gonna stay home.
Right.
Because you had the flu because you're sick. Now. You're not going to go out around people. And most of the people, if they were sick with COVID, they're not going to go outside because they're not going to want to go outside. And I'm not trying to downplay COVID. I've known people that have had COVID. I had a relative that died not of COVID, but during all of this, she was elderly, and no one could visit her, no one could do. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on with all this. It kind of makes no sense to me, and I don't want to see a tournament game wiped out at this stage. But it would. I would almost enjoy seeing one. Just to see what the reaction would be.
Well,
because if we're not, she brought up not testing during the Final Four.
Well, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you set the parameters of we're going to test before every game, VCU did not get to play in the tournament.
That's what I was going to ask you.
VCU did not get to play in the tournament in the first round game because of that. But when you get to the
final,
final,
back in now?
I don't know. But if you're in the Final Four, we're not going to test anymore. Now, I think she's right. They shouldn't test at all.
Right.
But she's saying, well, let's just not test for the Final Four because it would be a shame. Well, it was a shame. It would have been a shame if it had been an Elite 8 game or a Sweet 16 game or even a second round game if you suddenly, contact trace, you're out. I mean, what would have happened if that happened to Gonzaga, who's an odds-on favorite to win this thing?
It could still happen.
It could. And I just think that's the
Except Baylor's going to win. But it could happen.
So now what you're wanting Gonzaga to get COVID. Is that what you're saying?
Listen,
you don't want to.
Today is Wednesday.
You don't want to settle it on court.
Today is Wednesday.
Okay.
The game's on Saturday. There's plenty of time
for somebody to get contact traced.
To get contact. No, I'm being serious. Here.
I know.
I'm not
totally
joking about it.
I totally agree.
There's plenty of time to completely blow this Final Four up because of contact tracing.
Right. And that's why I said in my.
What's the percentage of people who have been contact traced that actually get COVID?
That's a great question that they're probably not really going to answer because they already know the answer, which is probably very little.
There are kids out there, students out there that have been contact traced probably 4 or 5 times during the school year and never get COVID. So why do we continue to contact trace? You can send emails in complaining about USA, their lead, the pandemic isn't over. Well, you've got the WHO organization telling us that if you don't have the symptoms, don't wear a mask. I mean, it's clearly on their Twitter page.
I think you could say the flu and cold season has actually been around for 5,000 years.
Anyway.
It's not going to end.
It's not going to end.
When will this COVID thing end? And I think what we're wanting to see is kind of return.
Just stop the contact tracing.
Stop all that. Just stop it because.
Get rid of it.
Yes. We had too many football games and basketball games in high school local
for contact tracing.
For contact tracing. Buford couldn't play for 35 days.
Contact tracing. All right, so next feature of the show.
We're done with that.
Yeah, we're done with that. Let's move on because the contact tracing just
it gets your blood boiling.
It does. It does. The contact tracing, and like I said, COVID is real, but the contact tracing is ridiculous. Sorry, people, it's ridiculous.
That's the problem.